Welcome. It's been a couple of weeks. I don't know exactly how many weeks. Everything seems like a blur to me. Yeah, we are. Here I am. Ed, where have you been? I've been dealing with all of the holidays that everybody else is doing, having a good time with that, and I'm trying to get my house to sell and that and the other. What happened last week? Well, we don't need to get into the nitty-gritty. It was family-related things. Unfortunately, it just happened to fall on a Thursday, so it has taken up that time. But not to get too off topic, hopefully you guys are, happy to see me as much as I am happy to see you. And we're going to talk about kind of the hot topic. We've hinted at it before, but LSS is printing a card that is literally just Dark Ritual, right? We all know what it is. It's Seismic Eruption, right? So I have a couple of things that I've made just for the stream so you guys can see that. We'll talk about a couple of deck lists. It's all Valda based because I believe she's going to be the one that can utilize this card to its fullest potential because of some of the synergies she has with her sip equipment, right? And not to say that it's not good in other decks, but the main focus will be, of course, Valda. And we can even talk a little bit about Lyath, not to get too off topic. But yeah, main thing is we're going to talk about Seismic Eruption, also known as Dark Ritual. So I'm going to refer to it as Dark Ritual because I come from a Magic background. I know a lot of you do too. That's what we're going to do. So, without further ado, why do I call it Dark Ritual? All right, here is Dark Ritual in Magic. This is arguably the best art, right? Obviously, that is an opinion, but only my opinion is right. I'm just gonna let you know. So this is the best art. It's super good. It was from Mercadian Masks, one of the best sets in Magic that I really enjoy. I love all the art from there. You got the Mercadian Mask brainstorms, right? If you're used to that kind of stuff. So let me see. TheCardGuyz turned on subscribers only mode. Okay, how do we turn that? I want people to talk to me. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and we'll get you in here so we can chat. So we can appreciate all of that. We got Dark Ritual, right? Add 3 black mana. Obviously, in this game, in Flesh and Blood, color doesn't matter, right? But they're kind of similar effects, right? So Dark Ritual costs 1, you make 3. It's a mana ramp. This is a mana delay, also kind of a mana ramp in certain ways. The reason I kind of this akin to the Dark Ritual is because of the instant speed of both cards, right? I've heard people refer to it as like the Black Lotus for Guardian cards specifically because Black Lotus also costs 0, but there's not really a huge comparison to other games when it comes to like a delayed resource. Maybe there is, but I don't think for 0 mana and also instant speed. I think this is kind of a first. So, with that, of course, I had to make a meme. We'll get there eventually. Golly. I'm more prepared, guys. Jeez. So, yeah. If you guys haven't seen this meme template, it's one of my favorites. Can you tell the difference? I really can't. Yeah, Merc Mass favorite, Dark Ritual. Obviously. Like, finally somebody agrees. Alright. So, Dark Ritual. This is one of the most busted cards in Magic the Gathering. Therefore, it stands to reason it's going to be probably one of the most busted cards in the Guardian class. If you can build around that. Obviously, these cards take a little bit of building. This doesn't just slot into anything but any combo deck. Or decks that can utilize some high-costed cards to be able to pull tempo and disruption. That's kind of what this card is used for. Additionally in Magic. Like, for example, combo decks, they play this, they get more resources, they draw more cards, so on and so forth. We're not doing that. The other side would be decks like Mono Black the Rock. I know I'm showing my age here. So, there was a deck called the Rock. Or another one is... this one's kind of more recent, would be 8-Rack, right? So there's a card called the Rack. It says when your opponent has a whole bunch of cards in their hand, then they take damage, so on and so forth. So it's a kind of a prison deck in that sense. But one of its like main plays was to go, okay, turn 1 Dark Ritual into either a card advantage engine or a disruptive, right? So that's kind of the idea. So we're leaning towards obviously the disruptive engine for these Valda decks. So hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense to me. Maybe it'll make more sense to you after we talk a little bit about it. So make this easier. I don't care if you rip that deck link, but this is not a good deck. Just fair warning. So stick around and we'll talk about the actual good deck in a moment. All right. So Valda, Seismic Impact. This is where I started. As you can see, Valda V1. This is just kind of standard Guardian, but put Valda cards in there and see how it goes, right? So Balance of Justice, my kind of cheeky thought process behind this was, okay, destroy this, draw a card. Activate the ability if your opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Well, guess what? This doesn't specify their turn, your turn. It's a turn during this turn, right? So theoretically, if you put them in their place for spec, make them discard their hand, draw that many cards, you're always playing this with Dominate, usually, then you can get an extra card. But here's the thing, while that's really cool and all, a lot of times an extra card isn't worth as much in Guardian because you're going to draw cards like Chokeslam and some of these other kind of mid cards that don't really do a whole lot, right? So still a good card defensively if you're playing against things like Brute or, you know, other decks that might draw multiple cards in a certain turn sequence, like Marlin, for instance. You know, if Marlin becomes more popular, she's a 3-of-a-kind deck because her whole situation is like her deck build generally is based around like a New Horizons, draw a few cards, attack with a couple of arrows, or, you know, something along those. There's some Death Dealer builds. Either way, they play 3-oak. This works against 3-oak. It's pretty good. Same thing with the other pirates too. You play against a Gravy. You know, say they use their hero ability, draw a card. They decide they want to dig a little bit farther because they want to play a sloop, right? I got a sloop right here that I'm just shuffling around in my hand, right? So they play a sloop. To get another blue in their yard, they'll pitch to the gold. There's the second card. Now you draw an additional card with that, right? So just some options. So we probably don't need to argue that this card is a good pick, right? It's a reasonable option. Is it better than Crown? I don't know. I don't think so currently, but still, that was the idea and why I linked into this is like, hey, I can draw a card on my turn. That sounds pretty cool. Civic Steps is still, at this point, in my opinion, probably the best boot option for Guardian. Flexus is also strong, but it's not as strong in a mid-rangey style deck. That's just is what it is. It's good against certain decks, but it's not good against every deck. Where this is good against every deck as long as they're not arcane. Everything else kind of speaks for itself. Testament of Valahai. This card is obviously insane. It's very good with the Dark Ritual, right? So get used to it. It's Dark Ritual. It's very good with that. You can block with this. You can use it as a combat trick in certain cases to gain additional 2 block. That's kind of cool. It's happened a lot in my testing. Titan's Fist is just the best card because everything costs 3 or more. Then the rest just looks like a Guardian deck, right? It's just, if it's got Valda's name on it, we're playing it. If it doesn't, they're just the good cards. So, Tunic Pummel, Man to Conquer, everything that you would expect. This, honestly, is such a good card. I would have expected this to say a Valda specialization on it with how well it plays into her strategy. Surface Shaking off the opposing visage on turn 1. It feels almost as strong as playing Showtime, if not stronger, in this deck, depending on how your hand shapes up. If you do it early, of course, you shuffle your deck, do these things. You have to have a little bit of a luck there to be able to get a relevant disruption piece or crush effect that matters. But just having the ability to auto-generate 3 surges while also being able to attack with a hammer or something else if you have a floating surge or a tunic counter, play a 4 cost, or so on, is just really, really strong. And if you're playing Earthlore Bounty, which this deck is not, then you can just sift your hand and repeat no matter what. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So fantastic card. Solid Ground obviously works with our Dark Ritual as well. So this is 0 cost, block 5 is kind of insane, and then everything else is pretty. So this is where I landed. At first, Tectonic Rift, I just wanted a little bit extra. Hey, I'm going first. Let's blow them out, right? Let's bend them over and some cheeks, see what happens. But I ultimately ended up cutting this card for some other things. So this sideboard in testing was okay, and most of these cards are going to stay in future iterations that we're going to talk about: Chokeslam, Disable, Spinal Crush, Pulverize, and E-Strike. But some of these other ones, Crash and Bash, maybe I'm playing this card right, but I have never been like, oh man, I really need this one surge really bad, or my hand is just trash, or whatever, right? I would much rather just be like literally any 0/4 defense reaction and be happy, right? If you can give me a solid reason on why this card right here is better than a Shelter from the Storm or something, I'm happy to hear it. But right now, I haven't been impressed. I wanted to love it. I did love it. But it's so hit or miss. It's a block card, right? Like if you get stuck with it in your hand, it's just dead in your hand. You got to like overpitch it. It's just the problem with block cards. So like a 3, yeah, like a 3/4/6 that shifts. Yes, that sifts. Gosh, I can't read. Man, this is what happens when you don't for a couple weeks. So binding the old ones. The idea here was, okay, if Valda's good, then maybe this card's good. Heave 2, obviously very good, right? The reason it's good is with tech plating. So if you're playing into a mirror, you would want to play tech plating Anathos, so you can have 2 floating for Threaten a Pummel. They usually will give you 6 block, right? Which means that their next turn is going to be a little less efficient, and then you can use that extra 2 if you don't have the pummel to kind of throw at their face. Then you get the Heave 2, and now your hero ability is turned on. And this is just the best effect out of all of those. The fact that the Crush is they lose all abilities in their turn, right? Cards they own lose all abilities. It's just really, really good. So, yeah, imagine a Bravo who crippling crushes you, but it's literally only 11 damage. 11 damage is a lot, but when you get to discard a bunch, it's not as scary. Isn't it mainly for Promising Terrain? Yes, you can play it with Promising Terrain, but it's still only 2, right? So if you tech plating, you play that, or block with it, Promising Terrain, you get your surges. It's not bad, but the main numbers I'm looking at that I found is like, if I can get my surges to 3, or I can get them to 6, that is the happy magic numbers, right? Because that plays almost anything in the entire deck, right? 4 is not bad, because you have the choke slams and you can say 1 card 4. 1 card 8. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's block cards, in my opinion, really just worse than the sync belows. That way the block clash win and clash win. Clash win? What are you talking about? That way the block and clash win would make 2 instead of 1. Oh, it is a clash. I'm sorry. No, it's not a clash. You reveal from your hand. It's just a hand reveal. What happens if you don't have a crush card in your hand because you're playing all these D-reacts and non-tax, right? Like, it's just... Sync below is always good. That's all I'm getting at. Yes, this is Valda. Pace. This is Valda. Moss can let you play around effects that make reacts more expensive. That's true. That's true. We don't have a whole lot of those, though. And against those decks who make those effects more expensive, I do not mind taking the game a lot slower. The decks who would do that are Warrior and anything with the ice in it, right? So I'm thinking of like Dauntless and things like that. Dauntless and Jarl. And against Jarl, I don't really care if my sync below cost one more, because most of the time I'm blocking with a couple of cards anyway. I'll wait until they stop giving me frostbites. The thing with Dauntless, yeah, that one is actually kind of annoying. I can see the argument there, but most of the time when you're playing against something like Dory, you're pretty happy with just overblocking in certain cases, and it's usually good enough. And you can use that as like an urgency button just in case. Just got here, heave 2, crash to get to 3. Yeah, you can do that as well. You can crash to get to 3, but I don't think these cards inherently are, like, while they're good, I don't think they're main deck right now. Yeah, it's just 6 for 10. Like, do you want to play Thunderquake red? That is only a heave 2. Are you okay with that? Is that good enough? I don't know if it is. So, all right, back on track. So, one staunch response. This was just for ratio numbers, LS Beltings, and then Rouse the Ancients. This idea was, you know, if Gravy is hard, let's make sure that we have a bunch of Gogan. And there's no batter to apply in this deck, which I have corrected since. Don't worry, I've corrected this problem this year. Then the rest is just AB3, the tech plating, like I was saying. So the idea would be Anathos AB3 plus Tunic into your Wizards, and then, you know, plating an Anathos into some of the mid-rangey / slow decks, you'd be okay. Seems intent for Smash Palace specifically. They are in the Guardian Pack Mastery deck, or set, but if we're introduced with a bunch of Guardians, like, these could be really good, as long as the Guardians are good. That's the problem. We gotta, like, sure the Guardians are playable, right? We gotta brew together and make sure we get a good Guardian deck. Auto and cycle only work if you hit a Guardian. It seems beyond bad. It is not beyond bad. Okay. We see many people play Thunderquake red in, like, the orbs and whatnot. Like, it's not bad. It's perfectly on rate. It maybe the heave 2 is worth more because of interaction with the Anathos and whatnot. But as of right now, I would play Thunderquake red. And I'm barely on the fence on playing the Blinding of the Old Ones. But again, this is my V1 deck, so do not get, like, hyper-focused on this list, right? This is just kind of where I started off, and I did the ratios and whatnot. And if you've seen some of the later streams, right, like one of the last streams, it was the last or the stream before that, where I kind of went in, like, my kind of thought process in regards to deck building. So when it comes to the ratios, I was playing against some Verdants. I was losing to the Verdants. I lost to Labaya, Kasai, because, you know, maybe I didn't have enough go again in that matchup. Still getting used to it. And then obviously Kano was pretty bad. That's another kind of spoiler alert here. So Kano is bad basically no matter what you do, unless you add a whole bunch of tech to beat Kano, and then it's still likely that you lose. So eventually we're going to get to the point where we're not playing really any AB except for against things like Runeblade, because the AB1 is actually kind of enough against Verdants, because you can just kind of aggro them down. We could talk a little bit about that in a little bit. At least Thunderquake works better for Valda's power, giving Seismic surges. Again, what I just said, if you have tech plating and you're playing around that situation with Anathos, if you're an Anathos-centric deck, you go tech plating, attack with Anathos, you have that card in your hand, you're playing mid-range. It is better in that specific situation, because now you're putting the agency on your opponent to determine whether or not you have a pummel or a heave, and if they block incorrectly, they can leak a whole bunch of extra damage, right? So that's what I'm saying. But yes, I agree. When it comes to Thunderquake, if you're not doing that, generally the heave 3 is better, because it just automatically works with your hero power, no questions asked. Wish I had Balance of Justice, haha. Currently using Civic Peak with a headpiece. Okay. We've talked about that in the past too. Civic Peak. Man. Give your opponent a card to get a surge. Don't do that. If you have another option, please play it. Please play it. Earthlore Bounty, is it bad? No, it's not bad. It is not bad. Again, we're going to look at another list in just a little bit, so be patient. Let's move on so we don't dwell on this first one. So, again, this is just Guardian. It's just standard Guardian. Pretend like, you know, you took your Bravo deck or whatever and you said, okay, let's put some ball cards and have some specializations in there and do whatever. Playing Terra Sunders, playing Rouse the Ancients, doing all these things. See how it does. Newsflash. It's not very good. Bravo just does it better. Add Seismic Surge or Seismic Eruption or Dark Ritual to your Bravo deck, and it's literally just better than this deck. Pretty much entirely. So, lesson learned, figured that out, moved on, was like, okay, let's see how these auras work, right? So now we're looking at Earthlore Bounty, right? So you see where the headspace is going. Earthlore Bounty, when your opponent, or whenever you draw a card from effective action card, a Seismic Surge token, each card drawn this way. Same thing as Valda, except for you, right? So you get to kind of double up on this situation. You don't think Earthlore Bounty... I don't think Earthlore Bounty isn't bad, but it requires the build around it. Yes, that's the situation. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's just automatically like, hey, you got to play this as staple. Yeah, auras, now we're talking. Yes, sir. I'm glad somebody's excited. So you can notice a theme here in this situation. We're playing Titan's Fist. We're playing Testament. We're playing Civic Steps. That's like... And obviously Gauntlet's of Iron Will. Like, these are the cards that we are playing basically into everything. And Anathos in the board and whatnot. I think. No, I don't have a board on this. I was just trying this, like, the base build to see how it went. So, I was like, okay, we're going to play our Command and Conquers, and because we just have to. We're going to play the Pummels, put them into place. Some Sink Belows. We're going to make sure that we have Righteous Cleansings and other payoffs for our Surge generation. So, Blessing of Deliverance. I've always played this card. I've always been a huge fan of this card ever since I started playing. It's one of the better cards in Bravo, in my opinion, honestly. You can Arsenal this, and the following turn, you can keep a couple of blues in like a mirror. You Surge, play this, draw. Depending on what you have the option to Arsenal those cards. Ideally, you get a red or something along those lines, and it's gaining you life. It's only a 3 block, right? There's a lot of upsides to this. And in Valda, when you're playing Earthlore Bounty, you are getting a Surge on top of you getting additional life gain. So, I think this card is kind of solid. Like I really do. A lot of people are like kind of skeptical, and I've had people ask me questions about their Valda decks and whatnot. And I'll say, look, you're already playing Bounty. Give Blessing a try, right? Sigil of Solace has always been like an option for Guardian, especially early Guardian. Everybody was playing Sigil of Solace before we had just like a billion D-Reacts. Try Blessing. It's a utility card that's really strong. And it works with your Bounty. Pitch Detect, play Blessing, swing Anathos, Phil Segovia. Absolutely. Absolutely. It has the utility with either chess piece to be a strong card. That's a good point, right? But when you are playing into aggro decks and you're playing Earthlore Bounty and some of these other cards that automatically give you additional resources, right? Then you can still have this and be happy about it, is the big thing. So, again, the rest is just, you know, like we're playing as many Guardian style attacks as we can outside of the automatic staples that you're going to play anyway, like Command Conquer and Pummels and Sink Belows, right? So I said, okay, let's try Draw a Crowd. So this is the Civic Peak, but in a card, but you also draw a card and you just get +3 on your next attack. You get 2 surges when you play this. It doesn't seem that bad. It didn't feel that bad playing it. Especially if you're playing against a deck that can't really utilize a full hand a lot of times. So, and if you're playing against a deck that can utilize a full hand, like Ninja, you know, they're just like head jab, so on and so forth, then you can still use this as a 3 block to continue your play. The only downside, really, is that it is a 2 cost, right? It doesn't really work with your Titan's Fist as well as some of the other options. One thing about Earthlore Bounty is Potion Luck gives you 12 defense value plus 9 possible from any red 9 cost. I'm trying to analyze or process what you're saying. One thing with Earthlore Bounty is that Potion of Luck gives you 12 defense value plus 9 possible from any 9 red cost or red 9 cost. Is there a 9 cost? I think I understand what you're trying to say. Basically, if you have Potion of Luck, you crack that, draw a bunch of cards, you get a bunch of surges, you get a card that is going to end up being free. Then you can block your 4 cards, as you're saying here, and then swing a 9. Yeah, exactly. It would be swing a 8 in this case because you're making surges. If you have existing surges, the math changes, of course. It makes sense. Allowing opponent to draw is fine as long as you can rip cards as a follow-up. Yes, this is a go again aura. It does work with that. If you can spinal, you play this, you have surges pop, your spinal is dominate. They can't stop the dominate, or you pummel it, or something along those lines. Yeah, great card. Funny enough, I played against a game in OpenCC versus Celio. I was Valda with AB0, and it didn't go well for the Celio with all his card draw. Yes, that is another thing. Some of these matchups that you would traditionally see as poor, like a Celio, for Guardians in general, are a little bit better for Valda. Because a lot of these decks love to draw cards. Brutes drawing cards all day. You're just like, okay, yep, I'm getting my cost reduction out of you doing your busted thing. So makes it feel a little bit better. So anyway, draw crowd. Really not that bad of a card. You just have to like be careful with this. It's a big risk to play this card if you just kind of jam it out. You know what I'm saying? So playing this, getting the +3. The +3 is really good. The other thing is Embolden. So everybody loves Embolden. Embolden is a fun card. It is fun. And I actually think it's not terrible either, right? So this is like bouncing in and out of like my testing list. But right now it's in there. Because of the upside of you being able to turn 1 play, this is not terrible. It's just +3, but like what else are you doing? Then if you have Blessing into Embolden, it's kind of insane. Especially with the Earthlore Bounty. It's just more payoff for the bounty, right? So getting additional power plus extra draw, which gives you extra surges. Like, I don't know. I like the potential high. It seems pretty decent. And otherwise, it's a card that does turn on your Titan's Fist and is a 3 block and is a non-attack. Good against a lot of decks. It's not bad. It's not bad. Opposing Visage. Obviously, you gotta play this, right? Because you gotta go get your surface shaking. But it's even better when you're playing Promising Terrain. So, this card, I looked at it. I was like, seems good. Good card. Then I played with it a little bit. I was like, yeah, I hate this card. This card sucks. Then, not that it sucks. I was just like, it's not for me. Then I played with it more and saw the utility of it. Being able to get it with Imposing Visage for 0. Certain cases where you hold it in Arsenal and wait until you can like dump a whole bunch of surges. You get 4 surges immediately off of the Dark Ritual. And getting tech plating, it's an additional 2, right? It draws a card and it gains life, which is more life gain in your deck when we already have potential 9 life gain off of your Blessings of Deliverance, right? All in all, I think this card is actually pretty strong. The only thing that really kind of pushed me out of it was it being 0, and it was just kind of whatever. In this list, it is actually kind of whatever, believe it or not. Then everything else is standard, right? So, played some games with this. I don't remember exactly. Let's see if we can jog some memory. Looks like I only have 2 recorded games here. Played against, I think it was this Fang, where I was able to get and generate 16 surges. Yes, I said that correctly. 16 1/6 surges in one turn. And I was like, what the fuck? What 16 surges? How am I going to use all this? So the conclusion was this. Okay, I went like I was on one side and I went way off into the left side. I was like, oh my gosh, this is way too much. Can't do anything about it. Can't do anything about it. So the best way to kind of build next in my thought process was, okay, let's try to combine both of these ideas to where we are generating on average 3 surges to 6 surges a turn, right? First deck was generating 3, maybe 6 sometimes. It was very inconsistent to do 6, but it was very consistently getting 3, let's say every 2 to 3 turns, and then it was able to play some attack that has dominate, but it was just the one attack. It wasn't any other payoff from that, right? This deck said, I'm going to make so many surges and you're not going to draw any attacks. So what are you going to do? So here we are, the finale of the lists so far. This is when this was created, not the last time it was played. Just bear in mind. And this is almost at its kind of final conclusion for now, until we see some more cards, obviously. But this has been really strong, and I have really, really enjoyed playing this list. I think it's a lot of fun, and I actually think it's pretty good. Pretty good. So, as you know, if you've been watching me for a little bit, I like to have my main deck that is most of the time in 90-ish% of the matchups not going to change, and then my equipment here is just baseline, always going to be played into everything, no matter what, doesn't matter, right? I got some matchups here, and then I kind of use my best judgment when I'm playing against certain heroes to kind of determine where I need to add certain cards, leave certain cards, and whatnot. So I'll give one example in just a little bit, but we'll go ahead with the rest of this list. So Blessing of Deliverance, it has stayed. And maybe that's just me really enjoying this card, but I actually do think it's pretty good. And most of the time, statistically, over the testing, it has been gaining 2 to 3 life very consistently. It's about half and half. Maybe a little bit more skewed on 2, just because of the overall chances with your promising terrains and your seismic runs and your pummels and your command and conquers and other opposing blessings, right? We can do the hypergeometric math if you wanted to, but just based on my feels, it's been a little bit weighted on the 2, but it's almost never less than 2. You can consider Grandeur of Valda. I didn't see it in either deck list yet. I don't know if it's in the board here. It is in the board here. So this is one of those cards where it's fine. I wanted it to be better. It's honestly just fine. But before we move on, so this is the standard list where everything is just kind of there. This is the baseline. There might be some situations where I do cut some of these cards, like Seismic Eruption. I do not believe is like an auto staple into everything, but it's almost there, right? It's very close. It's very good. So, Batter to a Pulp, Chokeslam, Debilitate, Disable. This is another thing that I've really enjoyed in my own deck building kind of journey throughout the years. Is I've noticed I really like having kind of overlapping utility. So having 2 ofs in the sideboard to be able to kind of mix and match, especially when I have like 48 cards and I'm bringing in 12. So for example, it'd be like, okay, I'm going to bring in Roiling Fisher, Sink Below, and then these 3 cards here that are all just reasonably strong cards, right? So that's kind of the idea behind this. The Remembrance is here as just extra utility. You get your Pulverize back. You can get your Batter to a Pulp against like Gravy or something. Obviously, it's just to have a little more threat density. But one of the big things that people seem to forget sometimes, and this was tech back in the day, was with Remembrance, if you're playing against decks where the life gain is actually relevant, you can Remembrance back your Blessing of Deliverance, and that's actually pretty good, right? Like, even in the Guardian Mirror, I actually like to do that sometimes. Just depends on the options, right? Like, if you're about on parity with decks and your threat density is about the same, like, this isn't bad to bring back because it gives you a little bit more wiggle room, right? So yeah, batter to a bolt, chokeslam, debilitate, disable, E-strikes, pretty much everything that you would kind of expect. It's only 5 go again, but I found I haven't really needed to have any additional go again. And we're playing more cards than the equipment like we did in the past, but hey, whoa. What's that? What's that? You got lava boots in your Valda deck? What the fuck? What are you doing, Ed? That's crazy. We're taking a page out of the old Guardian book, right? Where you're playing your E-strikes and you're like, okay, we're playing E-strike into a lot of things and we need to be aggressive. And we want to draw a card with the E-strike. Give it a go again. Make your turn better. Get another search. It's pretty good. I liked it a lot. So. And then the rest is just your standard equipment, right? You got your whole assortment of shoes, you know, and just pick whichever Jordans you want for the day, right? Oh, you're playing against Null Rune or against Runeblade? Get Null Rune out. You're playing against only physical decks that are aggressive. Play your Civic Steps and just block them at the right time. And then you're playing against mid-range to the Gravities and whatnot, you know, play your Snapdragons. Get there. Always thought that they should have leaned into making Guardians more like Paladins with their life gain pings, Blessing of Deliverance as the example. Yeah, because this is very Paladin-esque, right? It looks like a Paladin, for sure. Like, getting the aura. This all, knowing, like, Flesh and Blood lore and stuff like that, it looks like Aria, the Aria area. Like, the elements coming back in here. So maybe there's a little bit of that. I guess that's why a lot of Guardians are element based. So yeah, this is where I landed and it's been pretty good. So why don't we look at some stats? Rolling Fissure here, just to give you an idea. So it is 27 blues. It's really low, but I'm never at 27 blues. I'm always at 30. So I'm bringing in either 3 Rolling Fissure, right? And then Rouse the Ancient's Grandeur. The other thing is this could be a Rouse the Ancients. And I don't think that's bad. And the other question I've had is like, oh, well, playing Embolden, Imposing, Promising, Solid, Surface, Terra Sunder, like, how consistent is your Rouse the Ancients? It's consistent enough, I promise. It works. It just works. Sure, Light Guardian will be that at some point. Yeah, Light Guardian, back when I was like theory crafting Light Guardian years ago, it would have been like pretty good because you get Soul Shield and stuff. But nowadays, I don't know how it would work. Essentially, Verdance with a hammer. Bro, sign me up. Give me Verdance with a hammer with like good 2-card plays, and then just have like a shield, and I'm like Uther from Hearthstone, just getting it up. Give it to him. I love hammers. Sound like I have 2 brain cells. I have more than that, believe it or not. We got the gray matter working with this deck. So I've had 16 matches with this. I haven't had any super recently, but I've done some other testing with other variations of the list, but you get the idea, right? And there's other people that I know that are playing basically card for card, almost exactly, and they are having really good win rates. So I'm at 69. Nice. The nicest win rate. Might as well just end there. It's good. So Arachne, we've beaten all the Arachnes I've played. So basically the aggro decks I've been doing really well into. Fang can be hard because you get early fealty. There's not really a way for you to get them off of that. So the other thing too, against this specific Fang, I boarded in Snapdragon Scalers and boarded out my E-strikes. So I just had blocking boots, which was obviously crap. So that was me. Maybe it would have been a little closer. Still would have lost the game, I believe, though. But the big thing to notice here is that Gravy, I'm 80% into least right here. I know it's only 5 games, but a couple of these were teammates. The only loss was to Taylor on Gravy, and the game was actually really close. After we were done, he was kind of smack talking me in our team Discord, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just bending over Gravies, man." He's like, "Play me. Your deck ain't shit." All right, we played. I got him to like 2, and he was like, "Oh, okay. This deck is like actually something. It's not bad, and it can only get better with the Guardian Mastery pack, right? Because we're gonna see some more cards." We catch up on some chat real quick. So they have Bravo in Light Majestic card right, and the Light Majestic card right. Oh, you're saying, yeah, I know the card you're talking about. He's coming up in like a lot of those. I think it's Unity is the keyword. Is that right? We can block with the additional, but either way, yeah. But he's still from already got his talented version already with Starvo. Unlikely Bravo will switch to Solana and having light talent. I agree. I don't think Bravo is going to be anything other than elemental in that case with the lightning, earth, and ice. Probably only stay there or be kind of a generic guardian like the new one that is only young now, but eventually will be adult. That is Arsenal based. Another thing that I've heard, I don't have the reference to back it up, maybe you guys have heard this too, is I think LSS is leaning towards making Guardian more of a, or maybe not this, let me backpedal a little bit, because of some of the cards we know that are going to be in Guardian Mastery Pack, there might be kind of a prioritization for Arsenal, and that kind of is backed up by seeing the new Young Bravo that says reveal a crush card from your arsenal, it gets +2 and dominate, right? We might see a little bit more of that, and I'm excited to see a little bit more of this back and forth gameplay, which is what I really fell in love with this game in the first place, was kind of the fighting game style. Like you're blocking and you're attacking and you're kind of pushing and pulling, doing this tug of war, as opposed to, hey, I'm just going to explode your face in, or I'm going to build a board and then you're just going to die. Like, no, I don't find that fun. Maybe you guys do, but I want to get back to the kind of traditional style. And if we can make Guardian, if they make Guardian cards that implement that and make it good again, then we might be able to see that. Are you looking for Pleiades or Lyath more? Between those two, it's Lyath for sure, because I really like playing Rampart. And I think 5 cards in your hand every turn is pretty broken. And it also excites me because I believe it's going to be more of a buff-centric style deck, right? Because all of your cards, defenses, and attacks are going to be half, right? So playing cards that give more buffs forces you to play a little bit more auras, right? Potentially. It's just exciting, right? It's that same thing I'm talking about, where you have this tug of war where you're taking some off turns, you're giving tempo, a little bit of tempo to your opponent. You're blocking back, and then you swing back to gain tempo, and you're chipping each other down. It's like the mid-range mentality that I really like. Now, Pleiades, let me get a reminder on what that hero is. Instant remove a suspense counter from where you control. You may put a suspense counter on an aura of suspense you control. There's a lot of suspense, as you can tell. I don't know what any of that means. Does anybody know what that means? And then create a confidence token. We don't know what a confidence token is. There's a lot of unknowns with Pleiades. So once we know a little bit more, I may be really excited for her. We'll see. We'll see. Not just Mastery Set, Super Slam, and the new Guardian Armor deck. Yeah, I guess they do also have like Arsenal Matters stuff too. Know about that, but I'm all for class identity like Guardian. It looks like it will be one of the only classes to consistently keep up the dominate keyword. Yeah, with Valda, being new, old but new, still having dominate. That's true. We'll see. He's essentially the Aura Guardian. Yeah, so lots of auras. It's just we don't know what the auras do yet, right? So once we know what the auras do, if they're really good, then maybe I'll be a little bit more excited for her. I mean, the art's great. Like, no argument there. It's pretty cool. She's got like a guitar axe thing. Like, maybe Guardians can get some axes now. That'd be neat. And then these the charm cards. I guess it is just called charm. Charm cards are also a thing in Magic, I believe is what they're called, where you get to play the card and you get to choose one of the modes. In this case, for these charm cards, you get to play all the modes if you want to. I am excited about seeing this a little more fleshed out. You know, having modality in that means that your sideboard or your main deck has a lot more utility, you know, depending on how the synergies work with that. And then the super rare coming back. I'm not sure how I feel about this, right? Because one of the worst things ever with like opening some of the early packs was like, oh man, like I really want this Majestic. You open it up and it's just a super rare. And they were always like significantly less price. So that's always kind of a feel bad in a way. But maybe this is better for drafting. I don't know, because they're going to be more likely to show up. So in draft, you can play, like, we'll just talk about the last one. You play against somebody who has the Conqueror of the High Seas, right? And they just like kind of blow you out. That's super annoying in certain cases. And you just never opened any Majestic. But if you open a good amount of like reasonable super rares, it could be a lot more balanced, right? Substance probably keeps the on the board token extra turns, like Steam tokens for mech. I can see that. Yep. That makes sense to me. But all in all, we won't know until probably after Singapore, right? Or like at the opening of Singapore, the banquet. Because maybe they'll reveal a little bit more about that. Tough Knot is a club hero, not a rock hero. Changed my mind. So you are correct and incorrect at the same time, right? Like the probably the most competitive version of that deck will be a club hero. But I mean, a lot of people are going to play rock because rock is awesome. Aren't supers back just for Super Slam because of the name? Well, I don't know. Maybe that was their idea, is that let's get supers back because it's in the name. I haven't thought about that. It's reasonable, but I would think that if they add supers here, that they're going to kind of continue that, and it'll go back to the traditional style of kind of like a common, rare, or common, uncommon, rare, Majestic in Magic terms, and then your legendaries would be like your Marvels and things like that. So maybe so. It's also, there's an argument for the not having supers. It's the same structure. So the legendaries are going to be like your Majestics in Magic. Obviously the pull rate's all different and whatnot. Might be draft reasons too. I think it's mainly probably draft reasons, in my opinion, just based on what I was saying. So, but talking about Lyath, we are way off topic of our stream topic, but it's fun. So Lyath, where's he at? Here he is. Okay, so Intellect 5 is insane. This arena little person, I'd be choiceful with my words. This arena little person is the smartest person in the entirety of Flesh and Blood at this point, right? Isn't that insane? So, yeah, base attack, having everything. It's also kind of thematic because he is a little person. He's like a hobbit, right? So his attacks and defenses are less, but the option to give instant speed, crowd you, I'm sure there's some synergies there. You might have some equipment that like triggers off of that, or some cards that trigger off of that. Obviously, we'll see cards that trigger off of it. But then all of your action cards are going to be +1. This is going to be deck. This is a very interesting deck building philosophy, right? Where like, this will not really be a defense reaction style deck. It'll be more of a, if playing defense reactions traditionally, you'll have to find the counterpart in the prevention area. So your peace of minds and things like that, that don't have base defense, but they have the reaction-esque style speed. So when the boozy, you create a might token. It's already on the card. I should have just read more, but you already automatically get a benefit from doing this. So you block a rampart, you block with 3 block. It becomes a 3 block again, right? Then you get a might, so it's automatically 4 value. And then you have 3 more cards to where you can block with at least 1 more card, probably, you know, like a 3 block or something, and then play something like a mocking blow, where crowd boos you. If you boo, you get +4, you get the might. Like there's probably some synergy there. We'll have to see how it builds, but the big thing that I see at this point is you're going to use that instant ability to make Rampart work. Like it just makes the most sense at this point. Super rares are only for Super Slam. The announcement, you have it there for 1 night only, as if it was a show. One time, okay, so I see. So it's only for this set. Interesting. Let's say more blues and the 6s and the brew. I think they want the clubs so you can run as many. Yellow 6s is possible, but you were right that everyone will be running rock, and I can't blame that. Yeah, rock is so cool, right? It is what it is. Okay, well, appreciate the enlightenment on the super rare. Only back for this. Okay, fair enough. Maybe they'll bring them back again if they see that there is like a lot of balance added to the draft set. Maybe, I don't know. But that's honestly the most exciting thing to me when it comes to this set, is having the super rares could potentially make it to where somebody who is infamously unlucky as me and never pulls Majestics in any of my limited pulls ever, that I'll be able to at least pull some supers that are pretty good cards, right? Damage prevention for Lyath, which makes rock interesting into him since it can't be prevented. Hey, that's true. That's true. That's assuming that these heroes are any good at all, right? To me, it's hard to believe that that Intellect 5 won't be at least good enough to make you at least a mid-tier, high mid-tier hero. But maybe he can get fatigued because all of his cards are less. But if you play Rampart, maybe that's even harder. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then Liar's Charm, I believe, is the strongest one, if I remember correctly. Still a toughness or vigor. So you just get to take it, not destroy, but take. Crowd boos you, so you get the automatic might generation. Target hero loses, can't gain abilities this action unless they discard a card. That mode is insane. That mode is so good. Good. So, yeah, that to me, this is probably the best one. And the bullying tactic is neat too. Being able to pitch a blue, intimidate a bunch. Like, I mean, kinda cool. Kinda cool. Ed me boy. What's up, Brett? Appreciate you coming and saying hi. All right. You guys are so good at making me go on tangents. So, here we are. Here's the Valda list. Now that we're back on track. This is what I've been playing. This is what has been good. This consistently getting 3 surges almost every single turn to be able to chain your put them in place, to be able to play your Spinal Crushes. Getting additional surges, right, is always a pretty good thing in a lot of cases. So if you get 4 surges, then you're able to Spinal Crush with a blue and a pummel. Always awesome when it lines up. And then the rest of these cards have just been inherently good. I like the Pulverize because of the surge generation that this deck is capable of. Pulverize a lot of times can be a 2 or 1 card even play in a lot of cases. Skip an armory for this, entertain me. I'm doing my best, man. I don't know if you can be entertained by Guardian though. I know you're that Prism player. Like those Prism decks. I guess you've been playing Gravy lately if I remember correctly. But yeah, so this is the results. Let's look at some matchups just to give you an idea of how I've been playing this. So the Earthlore aggro is obviously just me playing Earthlore, and I'm playing against aggro. That's all that means. I'm not being aggro. I'm being the counter to aggro. So you're playing your blessings. I know I'm at 58 cards. I usually just add some. It's usually disable. Sometimes it's some E-strikes or Rousey Ancient. It just depends on what I'm feeling and what the matchup is. But I play this into most ninjas and, you know, things that are going to aggressively just try to beat me down, where I may have the ability to play like a blessing, or they may want to draw cards, you know, like there's a lot of options with this. And as long as you have like some forms in the game where you can take a little bit of time and a little bit of tempo, you keep a couple of cards. So Cinder 2, you've been playing Cinder 2. There you go. There you go. So this is usually the default in a lot of cases. Tech plating is basically the same, but I am, let's see, when I'm playing the Roiling Fisher, if I really want this card to happen pretty consistently, then the tech plating is obviously a little bit better in that case. It's a little bit of utility there. It'd make your choke slams a little bit stronger here, and your debilitates to be able to play those out, and it's also very good Blessing of Deliverance. E-strike in a lot of these matchups as well. Same thing. You can see that I don't play E-strike with the Earthlore Bounty-esque list. So in Earthlore Bounty, there's also the option, because if you want to play kind of a mid-rangey aggressive style package, you can play the Rousey Ancients over the Rolling Fissure, because there's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to have that extra surge to blow up multiple auras, right? So it just kind of mix and match. It gives you the utility. That's all I'm getting at. Then against Gravy, so I've been playing Earthlore Bounty, the Snapdragon Scalers. I do play Testament and Titan's Fist. I really value being able to kill their allies, the majority of their allies. I know they have their chums and their Humperdinks, however you want to, I think it's Humperdink. Anyway, so being able to kill all of their allies, if you're able to get off a batter to a pulp, which it being a 6 for 10, a lot of times it's really not that hard to do, especially if you can line it up with a pummel. It's like basically impossible for them to stop. You blow up their compass and then they just kind of flounder in a lot of cases. Some really, really good gravies will be able to play around that. They'll generate rums and they'll generate action points to be able to have some bigger turns and still be able to extract tempo and play their sloops and whatnot. It can be kind of hard against really experienced players, but most of the time, if you're able to batter to a pulp their compass, the game is like pretty favored, in my opinion. So big things that I really look at in here. You can see that I'm playing Choke Slam specifically because there's not a lot of cards that this hits. It's mainly just like Conqueror. They're playing Pummel, sure, I guess, whatever. But Debilitate always does work, right? It always says -2. Command and Conquer is able to obviously get the chum, so a lot of times I'll hold on unless I have full tempo. I'll kill their chum if they have one else. Sometimes you can bait them to activate their chum. You were planning on hitting them anyway after a couple of your surges that you might not use anyway. We're going to pop, they'll chum, and then you kill them. They lost a card, and it's great. Good things. Disable has been obviously very good. Just having CNC that has dominate in certain cases is really strong. And then E-Strike with your Snapdragon Scalers, just standard tech that you would have. you need to get an extra surge, or need to get an arsenal, or have you gamble for a good arsenal and you are falling behind, it's always good for that. So that's the 60 there. This is what I've been doing. It's been working well, as you can tell. And then Guardian, this is kind of like standard tech plating practice against a lot of decks. So if I'm playing against, I know to be a mid-rangey Decimator, Great Axe Warrior, or something along those lines, I will play this style of equipment choice, and then the additional cards here as well. So I'm not going to be playing Spinal Crushes into Guardian, but against Decimator, I definitely would. Batter to a Pulp is mostly there for your gravy matchup, and everything else is just solid, right? Just been very good. So feel free to build this deck on, give it a try. We'll go ahead and post the base lists without matchups, because I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction. Just, you know, do your own practice and things like that. What works for you? Maybe give some recommendations on, like, hey, I've tested this card, I think it's really good. Maybe play Cranial Crush instead of your Embolden. That's an option that I've been thinking of. Cranial Crush does stop the effect of this, but hey, if you're stopping the drawing cards, it's usually a good thing. So could just do Tunic instead of Earthlore if you're not doing much draw. So that's true. That's true. But me being able to play Blessing and get a Surge, then add on some additional surges, or like a Righteous Cleansing or something like that, it's been good. I see where you're coming from, because it's the same argument with Tunic. The issue with Tunic is, like, it's every 3 turns, but a lot of times you can hold on to your Tunic until you're ready to use it. Tunic is better with Spinal Crush if you have a Pummel, or better with Command and Conquer, or Chokeslam, Debilitate, as long as you have the Tunic up. There is an argument for that. So maybe that is correct. Maybe it's worth having in the board just to see. But I do like having the extra block potential here as well. It's just 2, and then you can use it as your last ditch when it gets to later in the game to be able to stop a break point. It's not bad. Haven't played much Gravy versus, or you haven't played much versus Gravy, but old Bravo, we used to do Time Skippers versus Dromai to get 2 action points. Yep, we used to do that. We also did the Snapdragon Scalers tech into them in certain cases as well. This is the same thing. Prism is the big thing. We would have either Time Skippers if we had a high blue ratio, then we had some like 3 for 5 blues that were able to clear out some allies or some auras. But in this case, the Snapdragons, because I want to be able to have the utility of all 3 modes on this card, it's been good. And sometimes I will just draw a card even if I don't have Snapdragons, if it's the only thing I'm doing, just to make sure that I get an additional surge in that case. But again, like, maybe Tunic is a little bit better. So one thing, if you want to test this deck and if you just really want to play Grandeur, I think that's fine. I don't find this card to be like that insane. It's really good with the Promising Terrain, obviously. Very good with that. But it being a no block, it's kind of mid, right? It's really good with your Pulverize when you don't have Tunic, but again, we could just play Tunic. It's good turn 1 whenever you're playing some of these Imposing Visages to get additional stuff, but it does trigger if you Grandeur, Imposing, and then get Promising Terrain. The Grandeur would trigger before you get that, so that's another reason to maybe not play this card and just play the additional Rouses. So some options that I would potentially consider if you guys wanted to play like maybe a more tuned, more leaning towards kind of traditional in a way, it would be maybe not playing the Earthlore Bounty, not playing this, adding Rousey Ancients, cutting Embolden. Does just kind of turn 1, it's mostly only good then, and then adding your Cranial Crushes to make Rouses a little bit stronger. And then having Tunic, of course, right? Tunic in your main deck. And then you swap it out whenever you want to play your animals, right? Because you don't have a resource sink like some of these other heroes do. So you need the tech plating, and it's also good, again, with your Roiling Visions, right? right? So just looking at this with your Earthlore aggro, we'll change this to Tunic aggro, right? Since we're just playing the Tunic, you have these cards here. You play Disable, right? I'm trying to figure out the ratios on this too, because sometimes with retching, maybe you can cut this, but the more you cut these crush effects, the likelihood that your next hand, because it's always random, right? When it's a second cycle, your Seismic Eruption, you could just not get something to pay this off. But adding the Cranial Crush, maybe it's worth it to cut something like this and then add like an E-Strike, which has generally been the rule of thumb when you're playing Tunic. You're just having the utility of being able to send this no matter what the situation is. But yeah, Blessing, man, I love Blessing. Blessing's so good. So looking at this, the payoff for your surges, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times 3 is 24, so a little bit less than half of your deck. It's not amazing ratios, but the likelihood that you draw a crush effect or a guardian attack in general to be able to pay off these 3 surges is reasonably likely, but it could be something that is not as good, right? Like out of your good ones, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll consider Disable to be reasonable. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's a 4. So now you have 1 in 4 chance to get a reasonable effect when you play a Seismic Eruption. You can also just keep this in your arsenal, wait on their turn, just hold it until you get a good hand, and most of the time that will be the case anyway. Another thing that I've been kind of referring to this card as, you can think of it as you're arsenaling a blue that only works on your guardian attacks, but you're able to now pitch your arsenal, right? Maybe that's confusing, but it makes sense to me because it's just like, oh, okay, I get to block with these 3 cards. I'm going to put my blue from arsenal, and now I need 1 more blue to be able to play my, put them in their place. And now that's just like, oh, okay, yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So lots of good utility here. So yeah, Tunic aggro against Gravy, I would still likely play Tunic just to have the additional play lines with the pummels, right? And your spinals. Spinal's good with your pommel plays on the Tunic. And then Guardian would be your tech plating, and then tech plating into aggro if you needed to play the Whirling Fissure you're playing against a Vinset or something like that, and you need to hit a bunch of their Malefics. Might be strong. And I'm only playing 2 pummels in this case as well, and I'm adding the Pulverize because of the tech plating synergy with that as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Pummel isn't as amazing when you don't have the additional resource that Tunic provides, or the additional surge generation that Earthlore may provide, because you have to do these like off turns with your tech plate to go, okay, I'm going to make a surge, I'm going to attack, I'm going to do this. And it's obviously a lot better with Anathos, where we're not playing Anathos in this case. So the pummel, maybe not as good. But now, maybe we can get some games in and we can try this variant. Do you want to see how the Tunic plays? We'll do it live. Do it live. Gravy. Make sure I have all of this in the right spots. The deck. That way when I start, I don't accidentally just punt because I have the wrong equipment out. Tunic. Let's see. Gravy. Tunic aggro. I'll put in Snapdragon Scalers instead. Golly. Look at me. It's going crazy with it. Alright. Let's try some Talishar. Gotta be open CC. See how we do it. Yeah, but the Gravy matchup has felt good. And then I've played as Verdance. I've been playing more Verdance lately because I think she is just one of the best decks, if not the best deck. I played against some some Valda. That was basically the same list. And I mean, it was pretty 50-50. It was very difficult because I was playing Potion Plan. They would just, you know, throw a ton of damage at me and I couldn't block a whole lot. I'd take a bunch of chip damage and then they're dominating and you can't stop all the dominating stuff. And especially if you aren't able to arsenal one of your DX and they play, put them in their place and you just like discard hand. They make a bunch of surges. They do it again next turn. Like it's just dominate after dominate. So, what's next, chat? Next thing is Singapore, right? All the nationals meets. I think Malaysian nationals was the last big one that was, I think, streamed. People have been talking about. See how Prism goes. Exactly sure. So I definitely, we'll just look at it on this baseline here. I want the shield because I want the one-handed option. I think Snapdragon Scalers is good to be able to say, hey, I'm going to attack you with an E-Strike and then attack your aura. It might be okay. I want to play the Go again, of course, and if I'm playing Snaps, I got to be playing E-Strike. I'm playing a ton of Poppers, so I'm not as concerned about that. Batter to a Pulp doesn't really do anything. Roiling Fissure is also very good, right? So is there a card that I can board out for Roiling Fissure? Maybe the Blessing? I think Blessing is kind of mid in this matchup specifically. I think I'm willing to try this out. Yeah, no AB. That could be a problem, but, you know. It is what it is. So I'm going to make some surges. Since it's in our opening hand, we might as well. Then I'll likely just arsenal this. I'll pass. We'll arsenal the Righteous Cleansing because it's probably what we're going to end up playing. It does not, right? It threatens the Calming Gesture, but they're just going to use it at that point to make a Spectral Shield, right? So it doesn't really matter. You just kind of force them into making that play earlier than they maybe have expected to. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the Command and Conquer block here just to stop this. Then I'll end up using the Disable and likely just go ahead and use the Righteous Cleansing. Okay, so the surges go ahead and pop. One thing that's really neat with this too is if you can get a bunch of surges, Terra Sunder is like absolutely busted in half because you can play a Crush effect for free. You just keep a blue and Terra Sunder, you Terra Sunder, and then you make your Crush effect just absolutely broken in half. So we're going to play a Righteous Cleansing, keeping the E-Strike around because we have our Snapdragons. We want to get value out of that while we can. A lot of times in the past, I have found myself laying or just kind of sitting on the Snapdragon Scalers longer than I need to and not extracting the value. And sometimes when forced to block, let's say I don't use it on my first E-Strike, but then I have to block with my second and I don't see third until like really late and have to block with those as well, then the Snapdragon Scaler's got no value. So a lot of times, if I can find a good source, I think I'm happy taking the Heralds just to get more of these cards out of their deck. But it's good to know that we have this. There is an argument for taking Artlight just because it is an annoying card. But the rest of these, knowing about them is always good. So we'll do... Doesn't really matter the order because they're going to draw all these cards anyway. They could very well shuffle as well, right? I don't know if there's a... There are some armor pieces that Battered could be good against, but... Oh, I might get to. No, I'm not, because... Do they draw first? They don't draw first, right? Okay, they got Figment of Erudition. Arclight Sentinel. Okay, that's super annoying. Passing Mirage. That one stops our things. Okay. So what do we do about this? I think I'm okay blocking or keeping like Chokeslam and Macho in my hand, and I just have to use this. I don't really have a way to get around that because of the Arclight. So we'll go ahead and overpitch the red. I don't want to get stuck with too many reds potentially. Even though I have more blues in the deck, it's not terrible. Not as much of a risk. Okay, we'll go ahead and block with the Macho. And I have to give him another card because it doesn't have Phantasm. Do I use this here? I think I'm going to use the gloves, and that's only because I use the Figment of Erudition here to draw some additional cards. Okay, that's annoying. I can't really do a whole lot about that. There wasn't really much playing around that I could do against that as well, unless I just had defensive reactions. But because of the Arclight and the Passive Mirage, I just had to do a soul read and block an additional card, and then they just hold it. Maybe it was correct, blocking a little bit more, but then I give up my gloves. I don't think there's any situation where I actively want to give up gloves. But now they're very likely probably to with that. Guess not. Guess I'm wrong. We're trying here. I think I'm okay just going ahead and dropping this Promising for no reason. If I draw the Seismic Eruption, that's fine. I just don't really want that card in my hand. I probably should have been on tech plating. I should have definitely been on tech plating in this case. Alright, this hand is butt cheeks. For this missing terrain, at least. Not a bad hand, but it's kind of nice having these additional D-reacts just available. I do like that. Thinking about playing the E-Strike and then getting both of these out of my hand. It's only coming in for 4 though, which is always not fun. Super mid. I guess I'll threaten the shields with this. Get one shield out of the way, they block with one card. Okay. Sure. Makes sense. Because I have a Thunderquake in my hand, I think I'm going to not worry about the Parable as much. And I am going to get rid of the Merciful, just so they don't get additional dudes out. Ping down. Maybe I was supposed to use Northern Boots too. They're Merciful. Interesting. Okay, we got plenty of stuff now. plenty of cards to block with. So we'll keep the 8s in our hand, and anything higher than that will blow up the Merciful again. Got so much. Okay, flipping Archangel Protection. I don't think we're going to get a lot of use out of the Snapdragon Scalers. So maybe the Norune in this matchup is better. I'm going to block with Cirrus under here just because I have the option to be able to go E-Strike, draw a card. And the likelihood they're going to have to pitch a card to play a Herald. And then if I have to, then I will just keep the 1 blue to be able to attack whatever they're going to be doing. Yeah, so not overly concerning in this case. So if they have a Parable, we get blown the fuck out. But I'm going to assume that they don't. If they do, that sucks. Okay. And then we're going to kill the Parable. And then we're just doing this, like, annoying fatigue thing where we just have to board clear every single time. But luckily, they don't have old Luminar, so we're not just dying to their Spectral Shield machine gun. And we do a little Paparuski. We have the option of Surface Shaking this turn. I think that's probably our best line. Then attack them with Spectral Shield. Or with the Fist to kill the Spectral Shields. Man. It was looking bad at first. It's not looking as bad anymore, is it? Go ahead and get that Surface Shaking out. Opens us up to Arclight Signal, of course, but I'm not overly concerned about that. All right. Well, they just conceded. I guess we'll consider that a win. Why not? Close enough to a win, right? All right, lesson learned against Prism. We'll do it live. So I think what I would do with this list is I would probably still cut these. I think that's fine. I play Tech Plating, Norrin Boots, Shield Hammer, then E-Strikes, big attacks that are still reasonable to throw, and then the Go Again package. And the Ore Destruction package. So there you go. That's what we're doing. Okay, so against Gravy, we've already talked about this, and this is what has been working in the past. We do not have the Earthlore Bounties, so don't have the additional block that we generally would have. But we're going to play the Rouse the Ancients because we don't have the Grandeur. We'll give it a go. Oh, man. What a hand. Let's hope they don't do anything busted on turn 1, so I can play the Seismic Eruption and feel like a Giga Chat. Always love it when they play Crown of Dominion, because that means that my Command and Conquers are actually cards that they give a fuck about. We're taking a peek. Little peek-see. Oh, we're getting a Surge. Are we gonna tear asunder a put them in their place next turn? Oh boy. I think I'm kind of willing to do it. Let's say attack with this. Then may not. Oyston. Oyston. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to do this? I think it's probably worth it. Super annoying for them. If I draw an E-Strike, it's like even more gas. That's a good arsenal. Isn't it? Isn't it? Nah, I'm gonna tear asunder. Never mind. I can do that. Brain not working, thinking this is 2 cost for whatever reason. We're just gonna do the thing. I actually think this is very good. Unfortunately, not as good as I would like. Or are they not blocking this? Oh, we got their riches. Ooh, make all the surges. Give them free mulligan though. Maybe they wanted that. All right, we're gonna arsenal the command and conquer. This could be gas. Oh my. They draw a card on their turn. Seismic Surge. I play Terra Asunder, Spinal, Sink whatever I want. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. Ignore everything. Only face. Whoa, prismatic. Whoa, bro. Chill out. Okay, well, now we can't do this line that I was talking about. So maybe we just clear out their duders. Their duders. It works on that? What? So great. And the likelihood that they place something else that is annoying, probably pretty high. I think I'm okay taking some of this damage, or all of it. Just want to see what they do next, right? They play CNC, be something worth more to block. There's no on hit, it's just damage, so not too butthurt about it. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. So I think I should probably just do this. I'll E-Strike into their Sawbones, like draw a card. Get rid of this, play the Spinal, make them cry a little bit. Oh, it's double E-Strike. Oh. Oh. Okay, E-Strike this, bottoming, drawing a card. Then break the chain, tear asunder. Play the Spinal. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good stuff right there. Just taking the whole shebang. Look at that. Man, I love it when they discard 2 for me, please. Kind of sucks they didn't draw, because that just means that I get to keep keeping the Easter egg. It is what it is. Ooh. Oh wait, no, that's not a ritual. Damn it. Never mind. Hey. What is better here? Playing Bright's Cleansing off of that? Maybe. Oh, we got a Surge. Yeah, we definitely just play Bright's. Just 10 every turn. Boom, 10. Boom, 10. Sometimes that's how these games go. This happens. Man, they are just not blocking. That is so wild. Well, everything's different. Get rid of the give no quarter because it turns on their whaler. Put this on top, this on top. I don't know if this gravy deck is one of the better. Wait. I fucked up the order. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I have to do it the opposite order, I believe. In paper, I would never. Hey! Good. I can go E-Strike into... put them in their place. These guys. They give me another card somehow. I don't know how they would. Play courtside exchange or something like that. Could be an opportunity to go ahead and use the Testament as well with the Seismic Eruption. And the Gauntlet. Basically the only cards I want to block with. So I'm forced to. Arsenal Disruption. But yeah, this, yeah. Fair enough. Alright, so we can block 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so now we are only playing this, it looks like. Unless we somehow get another Surge. Yes, sir, Guardian Gamers. And got the boots out. Okay, and an action point. Seems good. Really know why. I guess you needed a blue in the yard, that makes sense. Be able to play something. Likely Mortis, Tech Face. Any of these cards, I actually don't really care about them very much. I have enough of a life threshold that I'll just face and really matter. That's fine. They didn't hook, so there's no upside to me blocking this. attacking here? I think the damage is worth taking over getting rid of the east. At the face. Well, we have the perfect amount of viewers. Nobody join, nobody leave. That's what we need. We have 69 concurrent viewers. Continue. All right. You're dying. There goes the allies that I placed in a backwards order. What's up, Wook? Eddard Knight of House Knight. That's right. Glad somebody knows. Saltwater swell. Okay. I mean, this is never getting blocked. Probably block the next thing for 5. That's the funny number. People left. I think I said don't leave, and they left on purpose. That's all I can assume. Except, fuck you, Ed. You like the funny number? Not today. Alright, what are they doing? Oh, they're back. No, we had more. Alright, 2 people gotta leave. Yeah, they got way too many allies. Too many allies in the deck. Is this normal? Is Chowder normal? Chowder. Moray isn't normal. Okay, well. Moray into his house. Putting a counter on something. Are we hooking? You're not hooking. Golly, Shelly too. What the so that means E-strike batter to a pulp for dominate kill you. Good. I'm gonna block 5. For free. Got him. At your face, this is lethal. Do something about it. Okay, they did something about it. Okay, at your face, this is lethal. Kills your compass. Promptly after you die. Alright, we got him. Got him. So yeah, the way the game goes, I don't think this is standard. Most of the time, they build a big board, and it's super annoying. You have to clear some of the more annoying dudes, right? Like Humperdinck. A lot of times, Sawbones is pretty annoying. So depending on the structure of the hand, you want to kill that and just, you know, give up a little bit of tempo to do. But other times, like this happens less than half of the time. Let's say like 30% of the time. I don't know, just guessing. But you can just like kind of aggro their face in, and they can't really do a whole lot about it. All right. We saw the gravy. Yeah, the other situation is you play a batter to a pulp, the crush happens, you kill compass, and then you just play keep the board clean. You play the zombie wrangler. Zombie wrangler. Okay, so we're playing against Marlin. I want to go first in the Marlin. They like going first, especially if they're on Crown of Dominion. Or if they're on Death Dealer, they also like going first. There's a lot of reasons for them. But Chokeslam, obviously, makes sense. Disable, very good card. Don't like Rouse the Ancients as much. Rolling Fissure is a 3-block. These are 4 blocks, so makes sense to me. There's an argument to Pulverize, but because I'm going to be playing Tunic in this matchup, and Shield not as good as I am going first, so there is an argument to maybe playing this, but I don't think it's a big enough argument for me to do that. So, this hand is not amazing. So it's going to be Arsenal Spinal. Yeah, that's right. Valda gameplay, Pog. These emotes. Pog emote. I think this one's pretty Pog. Wait, emote. What do they do? They're wrestling leaved? Okay. Well, you're annoying. Why would you do? Why would you do such a thing? Oh, again? Not like this. What if I give you this? Just give you 9. It's the more conservative thing to do. I can also get gauntlets and just be like, on. Yes. I don't think the spinal is going to do me a whole lot of favors. So. I don't think they're going to do anything else. Obviously, it's in 4. So their cycle was send 8, pass. Mine is block 9, send 4. Pretty good math. I have a theory that Fisticuff is actually playable in Valda because the threat usually takes an extra card or 2 worth of value against the lower deck. No! Brother. Did you... Redfin? Oh, I have so many reds though. That's brutal. If I give you this, I have Tunic, I can play Blessing, potentially do the thing. I don't hate it. Get rid of Spinal. Get rid of the Arsenal. Alright, hey, we did it. Gaming. Okay, doing this. We gotta draw defense reaction. Okay. Oh, that's good. Arsenal. Fisticuffs gives extra. Fisticuffs is the +1, right? I don't know about that one, Chief. No, they have the busted play. But I got 3, sir. I can choke slam for free with Tunic. Busted. I can surface shaking and choke slam. Oh my god. Broken. Hamstring. Oh, it's blue. Okay. That's fine. Alright, let's see how much life I gain. 3. Hey, I told you, it always happens. There's gonna be put them in their place? No, actually. Yes! Because it's not the searcher one. Oh, that's so good. And this is coming in for Dominate. Ooh. Yeah, it's +1 for 2. It's probably pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, at that point, why don't you just play Greater Fist? Pay 3 for +2, right? Or play Goliath Gauntlet. It also doesn't block. Well, Fisticuff might block, actually. Not sure. Don't remember. Might be one block. Oh my god. Alright. Don't send anything problematic at me, please. Attack me with something that takes my blues. Oh no. Do they grab hamstring? Oh. Well. Alright, fine. We'll get the spinal, we'll get rid of that. Do I get the extra? No, it's in phase. Still don't hate this. Could just take all of it and get extra surges. I think that's probably bad though. Get rid of you. It doesn't matter what I draw. Oh, I don't have that. Alright, so this costs 2, so this doesn't work. That could have been really bad. Often is Valda really holding back resources for 50 cost? Seems like baiting yourself. It doesn't block, yeah. Nips out for Harambe, my guy. That's what's up. Ooh. A blocking hand. Actually. What if we did this? Alright, check this shit out. Boom. Boom. Got him. Oh my god. A useless seismic eruption has entered the fray. I'm ahead. Okay. It's gonna be a big ol' arrow. Oh yeah. Yeah, you better hook that thing. Oh no! Whatever, take it. Take my thing. Whatever, you got me. You got 2 gold. Good job. My debilitate, no! Alright, let's draw a card. Oh my god. Oh my god. Insane. There's no reason to pummel this. I could. I'm not going to. I don't care the order. Please discard, thank you. Some surges. That's pretty good. So we can play this and even pummel it. God, this is disgusting. Oh. Isn't this cool? Is it ever worth shield block for 4 there just because it's going to be hard to hit 6 again after this. Possible. Possible. They're already discarding a shit ton. I'm getting rid of their arsenal. No reason to over the top this. Okay. We got a surge, hey. We can pummel this bad boy. Oh, got another surge. We don't even need tunic now. How about that? Oh, we're hammerheading. Codexing. Uh-oh. Alright, this is bad. Bad again. I can tunic solid ground. Block. Yeah, this is just... Either way, so they take this, then I do this. I can pummel that. Can't pummel that, it costs 6. So if I 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I get to keep these 2 cards. So I block this, play this. Is that better? I can cover with the boots. That's kind of what I'm debating. It's just if I do cover with the boots, what does it do for me, right? I don't think it does much at all. Because I have to use the tunic, I can't end up playing this. So... I'll block this. This. Just keep that, I guess. No reason to keep it. Just use it to play solid ground. Okay, hook gone. Good job, team. We did it. Swing 3. Yeah, we got a CNC. The oak. Good, last 3 oak. Fortunately, no crush effects available. Okay, it's only a King Kraken Harpoon, though. That one is not as scary. And I can CNC pummel them. I'm going to let this one hit. Maybe I'll block with this, just because I can get the value of it now, just in case. They can take areas under, that makes the most sense. Then I'll Arsenal Surface Shaking. Also, it's printed Dark Ritual and also 3 cards that just randomly say, if Dark Ritual is in your hand, gain +3 value. Absolutely. It's so insane, right? Okay. This gives +3, so it's 5. Make a gold, get rid of one of my Seismic. Do the annoying thing. Sounds so. Wow. Holy shit. Alright, draw me a blue. Damn. Alright, fair enough. Pass the turn. That is not normal. Not at all. But we might be able to block this, whatever it is. Kind of harpoon it as a yellowfin. Let's do this now. 12, no go again. Let's go ahead and use the sink. Okay. See how much life I gain. And 2. See, I told you. Usually 2. This is dominated, so it's like basically guaranteed. Giving Tunic. I got a D-react maybe. They're dead. Alright, good game. They want to chat. Oh, that's why you said that. They're saying how lucky I am, so we're leaving. I don't think it's that lucky. I guess the one lucky thing was like the Terrace Under, maybe. Terrace Under off of Graniel. Graniel's good. Okay. You ready to see a matchup where we lose? Because this is it. This is the matchup we lose. There's really even no reason for Norun. They grokked me. Yeah, for sure. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that good enough? Probably. These don't do anything. This is actual trash. I don't care about tech plating, I guess. We're losing this 100% of the time. It just doesn't matter. Okay, you got me. Yup. Taking damage. Play something else. Got me. Yup. Gonna draw a card. So we can get some more damage output. Arsenal that, because we can. Does that care about fatigue, or is it just beat down? It can fatigue against certain things. One thing I wanted to talk about earlier was the Kasai matchup. So that's a weird one, because generally into dual warriors like that, I'm not super big into playing E-Strike, but I will against her, but I'll continue to keep the civic steps, right? Because it just kind of makes sense. Yeah, we're just letting this Kano play Goldfish Simulator. Okay. Guess we'll play this dominated thing. Okay. Oh, we're probably dead. They did it, chat. Round of applause for our Kano player. Yeah, who knew? Kano bad for us. Kano kill us, big dudge. Yeah, yeah. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. How much damage can you do? Another Aether Wildfire? Why not? Might as well. Get something. Gaze the Ages, cool. Refresh. Put cards on top. 2 on top. Got it. Arcane Twining, dead. Big dead. Alright, they got me. Let's see what their stats were. 47 in that turn? Not bad. Not bad. That's the best way to play against Kano. You just, you play the version where you get to go to lunch. It's great. What I would really like, okay, so here's my hopes and dreams for Guardian Mastery Pack. And it's the new set too, since the Guardian's in it. If there is a way that we can turn our Seismic Surges that we create to Spell Void, I think Kano is actually winnable at that point. But until then, with this style of deck, don't think it's playable. You like Visage in the list. I'm not sure if I like it in general. I feel like it's just a blue 3-block 3. Okay, so that is already pretty good, right? It's a blue 3-block 3. It turns on your hammer, does all those things. It allows you to get some of your best cards. It's turn 1 high roll potential, right, with your Surface Shaking. And it also lets you get your Promising Terrain or a Blessing of Deliverance. Like, you have options. It's just whatever best fits your situation. And I think it's really good. Okay, so I have not played on this side of the matchup, but I do think you play Norwin here because they do have like the machine gun, right? So here, what I really want to do is just play the aggro side. Chokeslam is good against them. Disable is generally pretty strong as well because they like to arsenal potions. At least I do when I play this deck. And then don't hate Remembrance, just in case the game goes a little bit longer. I do love Blessing of Deliverance in this matchup as well. Everything else is kind of whatever. I think Roiling Fissure is strong. These don't do anything. I obviously love all of these cards. I think there's an option to play a little bit more too. Just play some extra blues just to make sure that we get what we need. Let's try this. Let's try 63 and be happy. Let's do it, chat. I know Earthlore, I thought this was a shoe-in for her. So we were talking about it a little bit. So we're trying out the Tunic situation. Tunic with Pummel is just obviously insane when any of these you know, 5s and 2s and whatnot. So we're just trying the Tunic. The variation that I showed before we made these slight adjustments was Earthlore and Tectonic, and depending on the matchup, you swap. Still fine. It's just because of the way the deck is constructed, there's not a lot of automatic draw. So you have 9 cards mainly in this deck that draw you cards. So that's Blessing of Deliverance, Promising Terrain, and whatever the new card is. I forget his name right now. Seismic something. It makes 3, and then you can sift. Right, so that's 3 cards in this list currently at this specific time. And you can add Embolden, which would bring it up to 12. If you play Draw Crowd, it's more reasonable to play something like that. So to kind of answer Ragnarok's question, Draw Crowd doesn't make the cut. It's just so risky to play that card against a lot of these like aggro decks. Now, if you can play it and then play a Spinal that you know is pretty much going to guarantee stop their turn, then yeah, it's pretty good, right? Against mid-range decks, it's pretty good, but there are situations where when you're adding a lot of these, you have to really figure out the balance of, okay, what are my crush effects versus my aura effects, and what is the likelihood that I will draw a hand that does not have a crush card that I need, right, to be able to benefit off of these surge generations that I'm doing, which is the second deck that I showed off this stream. Your new fab player. Halo N. On Bolton, but I am finding Valda really interesting. Was playing some Talishar matches the other day, and I really like... You really struggled to make Surge tokens. So, obviously the big thing is, you know, if it has Majestic at the bottom, usually probably a pretty good card. This person isn't here. We're going to leave. So, again, we're talking about this. So this card makes surges when it crushes. So you really want to make sure that this has Dominate and is likely to hit. This is one of the best cards, the Dark Ritual, the whole thing of the stream. Making the surges to be able to turn on the hero ability. Promising Terrain allows you to make more, obviously, and depending on what chess piece, you can play your Blessings of Deliverance, and Surface Shaking is just a powerhouse with that. So, everything else is like, not really Surge Generation. You don't really need it. Earthquake does it too. Just on the first turn of the game, right? Depending on how slow the matchup is, you can heave a Thunderquake as well. Hi, Taylor. Big fan. I appreciate it. You should tip me. Give me a big old tip if you think I'm so good. So this can be a harder matchup, but should be okay. Choke Slam is good. Debilitate's decent. Disable's decent. Rouse is bad. D-reacts are good. Alright, sounds good. Just leave it at that. Bread Knight. Did you used to be Ed Squire? Yeah, no. Funny joke. Ha ha. Oh, I hope they rush me turn one. Nice. Got him. Ask and ye shall receive, huh? Awesome. Fuck is this? Why is it so big? They play two? God damn. Fuck me up. Boy. Jesus. Well, I don't think there's any world that we're actually pummeling this. So I think I'm just going to save the defense for the next thing. I guess. So they have two. They attack with something else. Let's give them the... Risky, I know. But they're going to attack with, like, one thing. Don't have other shit that they can do. We'll block with this, block with this. Okay. Yeah, got it. Just keep that. If for whatever reason they don't, scowling me here, then I'll pummel because it's obviously strong. Yeah, if anything, you guys are the squires. Yeah, okay. You got me. This might be a Crown of Providence turn. God damn, boy. Thick over here. Jeez. Okay, so I can attack with this. Tunic counter, play any of these cards. I think it's still fine to block with this. Am I okay doing this? Let's say. During each action phase. Alright, I'll block with you. Kind of goes against what I'm trying to do, I guess. We'll get rid of debilitate. Rip. Play Dominated Spinal. Should be good enough, right? We're not squires, we're peasants. That's not true. You're my squires. Okay. God, they are just aggroing my face off. aren't they? That's awesome. How wild. Yep. Big go again turn. Oh my god. That's pretty insane. So I surge, I can pummel this spinal next turn, guaranteed. So I think I'm okay just taking this, because they're obviously doing something else. I'll block with this to go ahead and get the value out of it. One more card, come on. Oh, we got lucky. Dominated spinal. I think they want to block this, actually. Seems like it. Oh, they want to show me the beast within. To say, hey, when you pummel this, it won't matter. That's funny. Still gonna pummel it. They can't get a whole bunch of extra value out of that. No, I definitely want to arsenal that. Please and thank you. Ooh, cast bones. It's pretty gross. This is the best we got. Gonna eat a card and scabs. Kind of mid. Has agility. I could give civic steps here. Some of this. Sink below, get rid of Thunder, I guess. Not the best. I give this away, I take 5, go down to 12. Play righteous. It's my dream class talent combo. Probably Shadow Guardian would be really cool. Be super into that. I thought Jarl was gonna be like a Shadow Guardian looking at Mangle. But obviously not. Our Guardian would be cool too. But I like the Shadow. Because think about Guardian Carrion Husk. Wouldn't that be crazy? Carrion Husk and like some good shield. I think it'd be kind of cool. Sin Packing is annoying, but Swing Big is the best card. So we'll do Savage, Sea Legs, Smash. Did this wrong again. I need to do the opposite way. Go again, probably not doing much after this, right? Maybe I just give him 9. Another card. Husking Guardian would be nuts, yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's super cool. This is another blocking hand. And they just put on the pressure this time. Okay, well, they are slowing down a little bit. I can appreciate that. Give me a chance. Okay, they got 2 action points. Gamer. Valda is good. And fun. Let's do you and you. We'll try to keep the promising terrain. Rummed out of here. God, it's so big. And they claw me. Yeah, I'll go to 1, sure. Brutality. Okay, CNC is good. Maybe I can stop the onslaught for a turn. We're gonna have to look at their rate at the end of this game. Solid ground, where have you been? Yeah, we're just dead, right? Well, I guess not. We can solid ground. All right, goodbye, Tunic. Okay. Any big attack and we're dead. All right, GG. That's some pretty bananas turns. So I had 13.9, I had 14, so it wasn't that insane. But I mean, these like 24 and 23 damage turns were really the kicker. Oh yeah, Valda's been good. Valda has been good. I think this was a harder matchup. Like this KO specifically, this game was a little bit on the like they were getting the good side of the variance for sure. Not to give an excuse or anything like that, but a lot of times if you're able to disrupt at all, which it seems like I just couldn't, there was not a lot of opportunity for that, then it's really not that bad. I mean, you saw how close the life totals were, and that they were like almost completely out of armor. They already used 2 blood rushes. Sure, they did it on turn 1, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Yeah, you're right. My bad. So it's like 3-2, I believe. Let's see the results for the day. Yeah, that's today. A little bit less or more, I guess. 4-2, lost to a Kano. It was not close, not at all. But that was to be expected. And then this KO was close. But we beat a Gravy, beat a Marlin, beat Prism. Prism left pre-entity. Verdance didn't count, so that's why it was 3-2. Yeah, I forgot to update. It's my bad. But that's a good showcase. I think this list is it's pretty good. Pretty good. I hate that we didn't see the Verdance, because even with just the 1 AB, I think is actually reasonable. Because a lot of times they're going to play the potions. So, yeah. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's going to be it for the day. Dark Ritual has been good, Paul. Been very good. So anybody who's interested in playing this, I'll go ahead and post this one to the live stream decks in our Discord. So just grab it there. Feel free to ask any questions or, you know, talk about different cards if you want to kind of engage in that manner. There's also a Guardian Discord. Obviously, go to our Discord and say hi to us. But there's a Guardian Discord that's not purple, but you can find it through purple, to have a lot of Guardian people that are Guardian minded to be able to, you know, bounce ideas off of and see what happens. So I'm in there. I talk there sometimes when, you know, I'm not just being bashed by work or whatever. But yeah, we can all hang out. Sounds good. But appreciate you guys all coming back with me. I know it's been a couple weeks. Sorry about that. We're going to get back into it. We'll talk a little bit more about Lyath and Lyath, however you say his name, and the new heroes and new opportunities that Guardian has. Maybe some other decks that I've been playing, Verdants, Earth heroes in general, Ice heroes, kind of mid-range and control variants of the deck. We'll just keep it up and you know, give you some good content, hopefully. So again, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.